Hej och mycket varmt välkomna till Hagfors och Svenska rallyt, denna klassiska tävling som har körts sedan 1950. Vi ska bjuda på ett sammandrag här bakom serviceplatsen. De håller på att packa ihop och Jonas, det har varit 4 händelserika dagar.
Ja, det har det verkligen varit. Precis som det brukar vara i Svenska rallyt. Och vad som är extra roligt, det är inramningen med nysnön, det fina underlaget, det kommer bli rättvisa förhållanden. De kommer att få gas utan bara den för att kunna vinna. Det är inget däcksrally. Nej, jag ser fram emot det här.
Ja, du är redo?
Det kan du fethaja.
Då kör vi!
Vi kallade Ove Andersson för påven. Han var stjärnan i Saab.
Valdegård var vår första världsmästare. Han var bra på all väglag han.
Det finns bara ett ord för Stig Blomqvist. Mästerstig.
Det var alltid speciellt att stå i skogen och vänta på magiska Marcus Grönholm.
Löbb är den enda icke-skandinav som vunnit i Sverige. Han måste ha lite vikingablod i sig.
History, heritage, high speed, thrills and spills. Welcome to Sweden, providing another stunning backdrop for the latest stop on the adventure that is the World Rally Championship. I'm Kevin Piper, this is Rally Sweden, a spectacular event in more ways than one. Coming up, prepare for liftoff. Sweden features one of the most dramatic jumps in the world. We'll see who's determined to fly the furthest.
The feeling of the speed is incredible, so it gives you an extra kick.
Calendar, but how do they manage to stay on the road in such slippery conditions? We'll find out.
It's a wide tyre with a lot of starts, and the big starts, not like a road car starts. When you go, it gives a really nice grip.
There's only one thing for it. Even sporting superstars have to dig themselves out of trouble sometimes. All the drama, the ups and downs from this Scandinavian winter wonderland coming up. The 2013 season got underway in Monte Carlo. World champion Sebastian Loeb making light of the wintry conditions to take win number 77 of his remarkable career. So Loeb topping the early standings, and here in Sweden looking for a rare win on snow. Tremendous debut for WRC newcomers Volkswagen. Sebastian Ogier finishing second in Monte. But it could be a very different story here. Drivers from just over the border in Finland have dominated in Sweden in recent years. Jari-Matti Latvala, a 2-time winner, as is fellow Finn Mikko Hirvonen, who'll be wanting to show why he's among the favourites to succeed Citroën teammate Loeb as world champion.
I've always been competitive here, and our car is really fast, and we have a good team as well. So, of course, I'm hoping to do well, but that's already the target. It would be really important now to get good points and fight for the win on this one for the championship.
No surprise the Scandinavians looking forward to this, the only full snow rally of the season, an event that calls for a different driving style.
You have to drive a bit differently. I think if you have a lot of snow, you need to drive sideways. In Sweden, you have to go wide to clear the snow out of the tires. And also, it's special with the white landscape and the snowbanks and the way you handle the car.
Well, Sweden is the second of 13 events making up the WRC season. A full-blown snow and ice rally in the company of the greatest drivers in the world. Rally Sweden's based in the forests around Karlstad, to the west of the capital Stockholm. 22 time stages, including a foray across the border into Norway on Sunday. A total of almost the crew with the fastest overall time is the winner. Well, before the main event, it's qualifying. The quickest driver here earning the right to decide his starting position in the rally. And that's important because of the conditions here. It can be a big disadvantage for the early runners on fresh or loose snow, even with the benefit of special studded tyres designed to grip the hard-packed ice as they hit speeds of around 200 kilometers an hour. Starting further down the field means drivers can benefit from a cleaner road and clearer racing line. Sébastien Ogier setting the fastest time over the 4-kilometre qualifying stage, another sign of VW's impressive early speed. Ogier almost a second quicker than Mads Ostberg. World champion Sebastian Loeb on his least favourite surface back in 8th. So Ogier first up for the pick of road positions. And with road sweeping clearly on his mind, the Frenchman opting to start as far back as possible in 17th place.
So, Sebastian, can you tell us which position you've chosen and why?
The last one, because it looked like there will be a lot of fresh snow and there will be cleaning on the road, so it's better to be as fast as possible.
And the rest of the drivers following Ogier's lead, with the next quickest qualifiers choosing the lowest road positions available. Mads Osberg selecting 16th, Mika Hervinen 15th, while Sebastian Loeb has to settle for 10th, earlier than he'd been hoping for. Plenty to entertain the fans at Karlstad. And after the draw, it was straight into the opening short blast through stage 1, the Karlstad Super Special. Road order not an issue in this opening run. Here it's racing head-to-head, 2 cars at a time. And it was Sebastian Loeb quickest off the mark, half a second ahead of Jari-Matti Latvala, sharing the same time with Yevgeny Novikov. Come Friday morning, it's time to head for the forest. The team's tackling 3 stages in the morning, including the 24-kilometre Vargassen test, featuring the famous Collins Crest, where the cars will really take off. After a midday service stop back at Hagfors, they're back out to run the 3 stages again, before rounding off the day with another swift run through the Karlstad Super Special. Time then for the fun and games to begin, with an eventful first run through the forest as we join commentator Paul King.
And with the opening test already underway, down on the start line, Monte Carlo winner Sebastian Loeb. The earlier runners acting as a snowplow for the following cars. And even on the spiked snow tyres, this will be incredibly slippery. Loeb fighting for grip here. Staying on the road at these speeds would be impossible on normal road tyres. But Loeb still bumping and barging his way off the snowbanks at times. Of course, with every passing car, there should be less snow on the surface. And that means more grip for these later runners. First of our Volkswagens here, with Jari-Matti Latvala hoping to make up for his final day blunder at the Monty a few weeks ago. Flying Finn has won this spectacular event 2 times and is always a joy to watch on snow and ice. Like his compatriot, Mikko Hirvonen has claimed victory in Sweden twice, and he will take some beating this weekend. He's looking a bit wild here. And he's off the road. We're only a few kilometres into the rally, but already this could be a disaster for Mikko. Well, Hirvonen and co-driver Jarmo Leitonen set about digging themselves out. Let's take another look at that from above. He's lost the rear of the car around here. And the DS3 off into the trees, actually tipped into a full roll. And again from inside the car. A bruising moment for Mikko and Jarmo. Unfortunately, with only a few spectators around to help pull the car out of the snowdrift, the Finnish crew are going nowhere fast. So one of the big guns in trouble already. Here's Mads Osberg now. And with 2 podium finishes in Sweden in the last 2 years, the Norwegian also has real pedigree on the snow. This is the same sequence of corners that caught out Hirvonen. And there is Mikko, still off the road to the right. Mads through safely, but there might be some problems for this pre-event favourite as well.
Mads, what's going on?
I have an engine problem.
How bad?
Really bad.
What is it, do you know?
It's massive overheat, no power.
Well, it's all happening out there this morning. Sébastien Ogier, meanwhile, stunned the rally world with his incredible turn of speed in the new Volkswagen in Monte Carlo. The Frenchman isn't known for his pace on snow, but again, this is looking like a spectacular start. Ogier was just 2.5 seconds down on early leader load before this stage. What can he do here? We're looking at their combined time through these first 2 stages. There's the yellow boards. That's the start of the flying finish. And that is a terrific time from the VW man, and Sébastien storms into the rally lead.
A 9:15.8, Sébastien Ogier, quickest. You picked your position. Are you happy with that then?
Yeah, it's a good start. It was not easy. When I've seen Mikko, then I lost a bit the concentration. I was too careful. But yeah, it's okay. I'm happy. It's not so easy condition.
So Ogier continuing the pace he showed in the qualifying stage, and confirmation that Jari-Matti Latvala also goes ahead of Loeb into 2nd place. Mads Osberg holds 4th, ahead of Pontus Tiedman in 5th.
Well, Osberg and co-driver Jonas Andersson have a real job on their hands trying to fix those engine problems. They're not allowed any help on the road sections between stages, so have to rely on their own mechanical knowledge to make running repairs before they head off again on the 33-kilometre drive to the next stage. Will Mads and Jonas be able to carry on? We'll find out very shortly when we join rally fans stage side for some more tasty action from here in Sweden. The famous Collins Crest Jump of Jumps is coming right up. The crest, named in honour of legendary Scottish star Colin McRae, the original crowd pleaser, always popular over this spectacular jump. The fans arriving well ahead of the cars to secure the best vantage points. A great spirit among the rally faithful as ever. That's what Santa Claus does on his 364 days off. Fans here from far and wide.
We are from Italy. It's from Pesaro, Vicenza, Bologna, Bergamo.
And rally fans, as always, happy to make themselves at home, whatever the conditions. A really colourful sight stage side. And if you're sitting comfortably, we will begin. Hold on tight, enjoy the ride as we rejoin Paul King.
Thanks, Kevin. And we are following Evgeny Novikov. The Russian rocket has a history of flamboyant jumps.
And right one over crest.
And he certainly showed good commitment again there.
Braking, narrow exit, attention in.
Well, let's take another look.
Short, small cups.
The car's leaping through the chill Swedish air at this iconic arena. Evgeny setting the benchmark jump of 33 metres. Thierry Neuville next, and it's been a Steady start to a rally the Belgian has little experience of. Here, jump called in the notes. And that is a huge leap from the Belgian. Stunning action. Definitely worth another look. The biggest jump we've seen so far. 35 meters. And Thierry getting a bit crossed up in the air as well. He actually lands on one wheel. 9-time world champion Sebastian Loeb will be the next to entertain the Swedish spectators. There's a blisteringly quick section in the build-up to the crest too. These four-wheel drive turbocharged machines can nudge 200 kilometers an hour despite driving on ice and snow. Loeb preparing himself for takeoff.
Välkommen Sebastian Loeb!
Here we go. Oh, Loeb opting to dab on the brakes before the jump. You see a lot of drivers do that. It's so they can get the power down on the landing. An effective tactic. You can see here Loeb getting the car down quickly. Not a long jump, but he is quickest through Vargassen so far.
Men däremot flög han 26 meter, 26 meters the jumping length for Sebastian Loeb.
So 26 meters long, and the fastest time through. Jari-Matti Latvala is running in third place currently. Really throwing the polo around. Aggressive as ever. Let's watch him over the jump. Yeah, like Loeb, playing it safe over that daunting crest. It's not as spectacular, but it is quick, and you really get a sense of the speed here. That new Volkswagen is quick in the air as it is on the ground, and Jari-Matti seems to be growing in confidence with every passing kilometre. Latvala's compatriot Juho Hänninen is an experienced campaigner, and as a Finn, he knows a bit about driving on snow too. The fans really appreciating his efforts. Poetry in motion in mid-air. 34 meters for Juho, not quite as far as Neuville. Now, this man will definitely get a big cheer. Pontus Tiedman, the local boy, running 5th on his WRC debut. And giving his compatriots a good show there as well. A terrific view of the helicopter chasing the Swede down. And he reaches 32 meters. It is Sébastien Ogier who leads, though. His speed so far in 2013 has been simply breathtaking, and a really clean jump from the Frenchman as well. A really clean jump from the Frenchman. Not much distance from Ogier, but he is quicker than Loeb and Latvala in the stage. Mads Osberg is running out of sequence after stopping to make more repairs on that troublesome engine. He's also dropped 20 seconds in time penalties for arriving late at a stage start. Great view of the crest from above as well. And the Scandinavian fans roadside appreciating his efforts. And those earlier repairs have been effective. Mads immediately on the pace. A first stage win for the Norwegian and a jump of 28 meters. One man who has a mountain to climb to get back in the running, though, is Mikko Hirvonen. With little to lose, he should be fun to watch over the jump. Wow. Well, with 25 minutes to make up following that off-road excursion earlier, the Citroën Stars' dreams of Sweden win number 3 are in tatters, but that really was some leap from the quite literally flying Finn. 29 meters for Mikko.
Mikko, it's been a disappointing morning for you. End of the 4th stage now. Any better in there?
Yeah, we stayed on the road. You know, big improvement.
Well, Hirvonen at least seeing the funny side, but up at the front, Ogier's advantage over Loeb stands at just over 10 seconds. Osberg's fight back will begin from 4th, and Tiedman remains in a terrific 5th. Thierry Neuville is 9th, but for the record, it was the Belgian who had the biggest jump over Collins Crest.
Well, staying on the road is no easy task on the ice and snow. Try it in a road car and you'd be off in seconds. Last time out we saw partially studded tyres in the mixed conditions at Monte Carlo. Here it's a much harder compound with almost 400 spiked studs in each tyre.
Now you come to the Sweden. You have as wide tyre as the Monte Carlo, but the tread pattern is completely different. The rubber has like a big blocks, and then on top of that you have a big studs. And these studs, they actually breaking the ice, and they are so strong and so deep that giving you the grip.
And Jari Mäti knows what he's talking about. A two-time winner of Rally Sweden, including here in 2008, when at 22 he became the youngest ever driver to win a WRC event.
I won this rally 2008. I became the youngest ever win World Championship round, and I was beating my idol Henry Toivonen's record. And it was my second rally with the Ford World Rally team, and it was an amazing moment to win first time a rally and beat your idol's record. So that's been the most memorable moment of my life.
And now, having moved from Ford to Volkswagen, Jari Mäti is looking to continue his World Rally education.
Where I learned to drive car first was the frozen ice lakes, where the very first touch with the rally car on the surface. And of course, it was this surface, the snow. First, if you start from the braking, you have to look what you see in the front. If it looks poor ice, you know that the grip will be good on the braking. You have to look how is the grip braking. You push the brake pedal, you push it smooth, you brake into the corner, and when you are entering the corner, you come off the brakes, you push the throttle maybe 10–20% going into the corner, and then when the corner starts to open, then you give the full throttle. If you're trying to be very, very smooth, you have less wheels spinning, so they don't dig in the ice so well. So if you come a little bit too fast and you're sideways, but you are on the throttle, so it's all the time they are getting the grip from the ice, and then the traction is quicker out to the corners. So here it happens because the ice gives you the grip. You also need to remember that some places, if you come too fast, you hit the snowbank. The snowbank can give you support and keep you on the road. When they are used carefully, they are your friends, but if you trust them too much, they become your enemy. Everything comes to the confidence to the car and yourself. When you have the feeling that you can control car everywhere, anytime, then you come over the jumps, you come to the braking, you always do the last minute braking, and you have still the feeling, oh, I can get it into the corner. You don't get surprised. But when you start to hesitate and you just to think, should I brake a little bit earlier? Then you start to brake a couple of times or 3 times, and you lose the smoothness. You don't control the car is controlling you, and then you don't fly on the roads anymore.
Jari Mäti Latvala, a great character and brilliant rally driver, as we're about to see as we rejoin him in stage 5.
Thanks, Kevin. And Jari, of course, involved in a compelling fight for second with world champion Sebastian Loeb. As the Flying Finns just described, so much of rallying on snow is about feeling, searching for the levels of grip mid-corner as he feels the spiked Michelins bite into the ice. With this aggressive charge through stage 5, though, he storms back into the runner-up spot by just a single tenth of a second. Dani Sordo, meanwhile, is currently in 8th place. The Spanish sensation, never too comfortable on ice and snow. Oh, but he's getting a close-up taste of the white stuff, whether he likes it or not in here. Sordo, the latest victim of those sneaky snowbanks. Look at that again, just too wide, and as Jari mentioned before, once you get sucked in, there's not a lot you can do. So one more forest stage to come, and it's the second pass through Vargassen. Let's get back to the fight for the runner-up spot. Jari-Matti Latvala beginning this stage just half a second ahead of Loeb. Oh, but there's a problem for the Finn here. He's grasping his intercom lead. I don't think he can hear his co-driver Mika Anttila. Well, with no pace notes advising what lies ahead, Jari surely has no choice but to back off. He's clearly not happy. Nothing Anttila can do but shake his head. Still a brave drive considering that disadvantage, but he does slip back behind Loeb and into third.
What's happening?
The intercom broke and we lost in the beginning of the stage. I was driving without notes first 10 kilometers, and I can tell you that I'm quite angry at the moment.
That must be just so difficult.
Yeah, and especially now when you're on the fight in such a fast rally, but that's what can I do? Nothing.
Latvala frustrated, but at the front, Ogier's seen his lead reduced on the final stage of the day, the Karlstad Super Special, but only by 0.8 of a second. More significantly, Loeb's increased his advantage over Latvala by 0.2. And confirmation there that Pontus Tiedman ends his first day in the WRC in 6th.
Well, back in service, Jari-Matti Latvala is keen to find out what went wrong with his intercom.
We were looking why he's losing time. We didn't know. When he finished the stage, he reported that he lost the intercom. You have some teething problems, so if that's all we get, then it would be very happy.
One man who's certainly happy, Latvala's teammate.
It's incredible that you're so comfortable and so confident in this car on the snow. Everyone else must be scratching their heads wondering where it's coming from.
I don't know, but last test on last Sunday was really concluding. It was really interesting. I had very good feeling, and then I had still a question about the performance, but now I start to have the answer also for the performance, so it's looking good for the future.
Maybe you should tell Jari-Matti what your setup is.
Yeah, I know exactly what is my setup, and it's quite close between us, so it's not really different, but still there is a difference. So maybe you're gonna try tomorrow. I don't know.
Coming up, more high-speed drama as Sweden's icy roads claim another victim. Join us again in a moment. Welcome back to Sweden. Round 2 of the World Rally Championship being played out on the snow and ice-covered forest tracks, making for some stunning action. It's Saturday morning, and someone's in for an early surprise as we join commentator Paul King.
Thanks, Kevin. The fans out in force as ever, despite the inclement weather, and already on his way into this stunning 14-kilometre stage. British youngster Matt Wilson, he stepped in to replace an unwell Nasser Al-Attiyah this weekend. It's already been a lively return to action for the M Sport man.
-5 Al-Qasimi, slide right, 20, 6 left plus, flat right, and 5 left minus, keep in.
Oh, he's lost control here. Well, it's not taken long for the Swedish snow to bite this morning. Let's take another look from inside. Thankfully, a soft landing for Matt and Giovanni Bernacchini.
And 5 left minus, keep in.
Difficult to see how he lost the rear of the car, but once he was sliding, they were passengers.
Are you okay? Yeah, okay.
And unlike Hirvonen on Friday, clearly Wilson will not be getting back on the road anytime soon. Frustrating return to action for the M Sport driver after missing most of 2012.
Came into this long left-hander and just probably a little bit too fast. Well, definitely a little bit too fast. Hit the snowbank on the outside and it just sucked us in, and then it's rolled over a couple of times. I don't think there's any real damage, maybe just one of the front steering arms. But other than that, I think it's okay, and hopefully we can get it out and have another go tomorrow.
A nightmare start to the day for Wilson then, but returning to that intriguing three-way fight for the final podium places, and Jari-Matti Latvala knows he's under pressure with Mads Osberg on the attack. Latvala's compatriot Marcus Grönholm loved this stage, and you can see why. Incredible sequence of crests here. Breathtaking stuff. But Latvala is struggling to match Mads.
I started to gain the confidence back again, and to be honest, I know the car is good, but I don't understand its limits, and this is what this is, why I'm struggling sometimes, but it feels more natural now that I have been getting closer.
While the fight for second continues to compel out front, and continuing to dominate is this man, Sébastien Ogier. Looking comfortable with his advantage of more than half a minute. Incredibly, a first ever WRC win for Volkswagen is now looking increasingly likely on only their second event with the Polo R. A really distinctive sound to this new machine as well. And Ogier showing incredible control. But he has lost a few seconds late in the stage here. Hopefully no cause for concern for the rally leader.
Very short.
Evgeny Novikov has made a strong start on the WRC's tough winter roads, both here and in Monte Carlo.
Left one, hard braking, right two negative.
The young Russian, alongside Austrian co-driver Ilkka Miner, is holding his own in 5th place, and again looking completely at home on ice and snow. Sports number 2 could be one of the dark horses of the 2013 campaign. Let's take a moment to ride on board through this stunning stage.
And right one hard, negative.
Using the snowbank to nudge himself back on the road there.
Right one in gas.
As the morning loop presses on, though, the big mover seems to be Sebastian Loeb. There is little third-place Jari-Matti Latvala can do about the pace of the 9-time world champion. Seb claims a first stage win of the weekend. The Citroën Star's second place is looking increasingly secure. The morning stage has ended with the 1.9-kilometre Hag 4 sprint, where Loeb took more time out of Latvala, his advantage up to nearly 14 seconds, and Osberg is still hot on Latvala's tail.
OK, time now to head back to service along 15 kilometres of public road, passing through the town of Hagfors. The laws of the highway must be obeyed in this liaison section, so no speeding, but the crews do have to return to service within a stated time limit. If not, they're given time penalties. It's also a chance for fans to get a close glimpse of their WRC heroes. The service park here in Sweden is based at Hagfors Airport. The cars all returning in good time, with the team mechanics ready and waiting.
We've got 30 minutes. Basically, you're allowed 8 mechanics per 2-car team, and you can use any combination of mechanics between the 2 cars as long as you only have them 8 mechanics on them 2 cars.
Service always a challenge, up against the clock, not made any easier by the sub-zero temperatures here, hovering between -7 and -10 degrees Celsius.
About 10 minutes into the service, you start losing the feeling in your fingers, because it's quite cold and your tools are obviously cold, and that can make things quite difficult.
Everybody in the team has to do maximum what they can and concentrate on their job, and that's how it works well, and that's how you can achieve a good result, only like that. So I have to do my best, and they also have to do the best for the car.
Another problem here, ice collecting in places like wheel arches. The cars have to be as light as possible, so any extra weight has to be removed.
They're chopping ice off the car, as you can see at the moment. There'll be up to sort of 35 kilos of ice built up on the car as well. But there's a lot of pressure, midday service, all the cars are running close together, so that puts a lot more pressure on the guys. Many times I've seen the spectators give these guys a standing ovation because of the job that they've done in the time that's been allocated, and it's so rewarding for me to look and see the guys and the work that they do.
And service complete. It's time for Yevgeny Novikov and the rest of the drivers to head out for the afternoon stages in the company once again of Paul King.
Well, for Novikov's team of mechanics, the hard work is done. The Russians' Fiesta is primed for action again for the afternoon loop. Evgeny sitting comfortably in 5th place. The fight for 3rd is the one to watch at the moment. The Swedish rally fans taking it all very seriously, of course. And we are back with Novikov in stage 13. He has got pedal to the metal immediately. Terrific scenes once again through the frozen forest.
80 brake.
After that service with the forward-on song and the driver committed, it's another strong run for the man in 5th. With little fresh snow today on this second pass through the stages, the danger will be surviving the increasingly rutted surface. Having begun to slip adrift of Sebastian Loeb, Jari-Matti Lappala is becoming increasingly concerned with the pace of Mads Östberg. VW's Flying Finn hasn't been too comfortable on these now rough and rutted roads, and he could be in trouble here. He only had a 1.8 advantage over Mads before this stage. He's already behind. Yeah, Jari down to 4th, and he's now 3.1 seconds back. It really has been Östberg's day today. He has been relentless in his pursuit of Lappala. Oh, but that was a big moment for the Norwegian, a really high-speed wobble. Mads did incredibly well to recover that. With Östberg and Lappala still squabbling over 3rd, it's allowed Loeb to pull away slightly. And who knows, could the world champion yet build a late but unlikely challenge for the rally win? Oh, but he's driving over the limit at times too. Thankfully, just a low-speed incident for Seb. And that is the final forest stage of the day safely cleared. With his compatriot and former teammate still poised to pounce should he make even the smallest of errors, Ogier can't relax for a moment. The sight of this brand new Volkswagen screaming across Sweden's forest roads, quite remarkable. One more blast over these famous crests. And as if to remind his old sparring partner who is in charge, Ogier promptly grabs the final 2 forest stage wins of the day. A chance now to catch up with some of the runners further down the field, and this was a dramatic exit for Khalid Al-Qasimi. Nearby fan catching the incident. It's the Emirati's first event in the Citroën DS3, but with his radiator damaged, he would go no further. Mikhail Kosciuszko is the leading Mini driver. The Pole has had a difficult event so far with a number of technical problems, but Mikhail finally making some progress up to 16th by the end of the day. The Czech national team driver Martin Prokop has had a better run, a real roller coaster of a stage for the Ford driver here. And he's also been making some progress up the leaderboard. Prokop in 9th position at the moment. It's great to see Henning Solberg back in WRC action after a year away from the sports top level. The Norwegian, a real talent on snow events, and running a privately entered Ford, he's 1 place ahead of Prokop in 8th. Much was expected of Juho Hänninen pre-event, but the Finn perhaps not making the impression on the timesheets he would have liked. There is more frustration as well with a spin in the end-of-day Hagfors sprint. Hanninen's delay is good news for Thierry Neuville. The Belgian, on only his 2nd attempt at this event, moves up to 6th following the Finn's delay. Ogier was beaten by Loeb in the 2nd run through the Hagfors sprint, but only by a 2nd. He holds a lead of nearly half a minute. Östberg and Lappala end the day separated by just 6.1 seconds. Evgeny Novikov remains 5th, and confirmation that Neuville and Hänninen have swapped places.
So Sebastian Ogier on the brink of delivering a maiden victory for Volkswagen in only their 2nd WRC event. Are we about to witness a slice of World Rally history? We'll find out in just a moment. Welcome back to Rally Sweden, where we're about to witness the battle of the Sebastians. 9-time world champion Loeb chasing down fellow Frenchman Ogier. A showdown that could signal a major shift in power in the World Rally Championship. So often Loeb has been the man to beat on the final day. Here on the snow and ice of Sweden, Sebastian Ogier has been out in front pretty much from the start. The scene is set as we join commentator Paul King.
And let's get straight back to that fight at the front. The master against his former apprentice. Sebastian Loeb starting the day just under 27 seconds off the lead. And Mid-Anders Force itself, a unique stage. It actually crosses the border between Sweden and Norway mid-stage. The world champions runner-up spot looking safe. Will we see a final day charge for the overall victory? Sebastian looking supreme on the snow this morning as the studded tyres bite into the icy surface. And he is pushing. Loeb quickest through so far, so the rally leader can't relax just yet. Ogier does have a lot of time in hand, so he can avoid taking excessive risks, but we still have more than 100 kilometers of racing against the clock to come today. Sebastian remains in control of his destiny. He drops 3.3 seconds to his compatriot in Mid-Anders Force, but no cause for alarm just yet.
3.3 slower, but there's a smile still on your face. I don't think you're too concerned.
No, it's perfect like that. I'm really happy. I was thinking I can lose 7, 8 on this stage, so it's okay.
You have it all under control.
Let's say we had to push because he's really flying now, but it's okay. It was a good stage.
So Ogier calm, he still has 23 seconds in hand as we now turn our attention to that fight for third between Osberg and Jari-Matti Latvala. And Latvala is pushing as much as he dares out there. After a costly final day blunder left him pointless in Monte Carlo, he's under a certain amount of pressure to bring the car home for Volkswagen. Jari's changed his Polo setup to match that of his teammate Ogier's, but it means he's having to alter his driving style as he continues to pile the pressure on Osberg's third place. And we are now rallying in a stage entirely based in Osberg's home country. Mads is not going down quietly. Terrific images here from above in the Norwegian wilderness. You can see Mads flinging the Fiesta RS from corner to corner. Snow rally is one of the few events where sideways can still be the quickest way to drive. And this time it's advantage Osberg in the fight for third. He's 0.3 of a second quicker. Still too close to call in that fight then. Back with Loeb now, and just look how aggressive the Frenchman was through there. Let's take another look at that from inside the car. Completely sideways through the corner and bouncing off the snowbank.
It's just small margins now.
Yeah, what can we do? We can just try to push, and but he's doing really well. So he didn't make any mistake. He was still very fast in the morning. So we can just try, but I think no real chance.
Yeah, Loeb trying to keep the pressure on. That gap is down to 22.2 seconds. Osberg, meanwhile, is now just 6.2 ahead of Latvala. All very finely poised as this rally builds to a fascinating conclusion. We join Danny Sordo now. Never at his most comfortable on snow. The Spaniard is up to 8th, despite an early excursion into a snowbank. Oh, he's done it again! Well, he is furious, and it's just not been the Citroën drivers' weekend. Take another look at this. Almost a carbon copy of his off earlier in the rally. And unfortunately, despite the large number of spectators in here, this time it is the end of his rally. Well, the drama in Sweden spreading across the border then. Evgeny Novikov has so far kept out of trouble in his comfortable 5th position.
And left to short narrow.
Oh, no! Novikov and Ilkka Minor off the road too. For the second consecutive rally, a final day disaster for the Russian. Conditions clearly very slippery in this short stage. Shattered his windscreen in that roll. Well, these incidents will serve as a reminder for the rally leader. This historic victory isn't quite his yet. Oh, and that's another warning for Ogier too. A very lucky escape for the VW star. Well, somehow, despite that moment, Ogier's actually extended his lead. There's now just 5 seconds between Osberg and Latvala. And Novikov somehow got back on the road, but he has dropped all the way down from 5th to 9th.
Well, before the all-French finale in the Forest, let's just catch up with what's been happening in the WRC2 support event. Despite early mechanical problems, Norwegian Anders Grøndal was the early pace setter in his Subaru Impreza, leading the first day by well over 30 seconds. Chasing him down, Saudi Arabia's Yazid Al-Raji, competing on snow for only the second time, but showing real speed on Saturday, winning 6 of the 8 stages to cut Grøndal's lead to just over 4 seconds. Germany's Sepp Wiegand in his Skoda Fabia was looking to build on his victory in the opening round in Monte Carlo, but he would have to settle for 3rd here, but at least retains the championship lead. Today was all about the battle for that top spot. Grøndal looking for inspiration from his home fans as the rally crossed the border into Norway, but he would suffer a spin on the first stage. Al-Raji took full advantage, winning all but 1 stage today in his Fiesta to claim top step on the podium and 25 championship points. OK, back to the main event and the battle for those podium positions in the WRC proper, and it's Paul King.
Thanks, Kevin, and we'll start with that battle for 3rd, and time and kilometres are running out for Latvala to close up on Osberg. 5 seconds seems like nothing, but he's matching him blow for blow, and Jari seemingly resigned to his fate now.
Yeah, it's still all quite close, and you still got to keep pushing and pushing. Was that a big push?
I tried, I really tried, but I don't know. I feel it's not going to be enough match. He's going to be very fast on this stage, so I can't take 5 seconds anywhere. It just seems to be impossible to take it so quickly. I don't, even though it's the same car, but I can't, than OCR, but I can't drive that speed.
Why?
I don't know. To be honest, I don't know. I don't have an answer.
Yeah, well, Sebastian Loeb's in a similar situation. Try as he might, he just can't make any serious inroads into Ogier's advantage. The world champion is currently the only non-Scandinavian to win this event, but his fellow countryman is edging ever closer to making it too. Oh, and another trip into the snow for Loeb. Uncharacteristic errors creeping into the world champion's performance in his desperate late push. And I think that could be it now. Yes, the gap between the 2 Frenchmen back up to more than half a minute. And look, there also confirmation that Latvala 8.3 seconds behind Osberg with just 1 stage to go. And that test is the Tour Speed Power Stage. That, of course, means bonus points on offer for the top 3 finishers. But right now, it's all about this man. This has been a quite remarkable weekend for Sébastien Ogier and a historic moment for Volkswagen and indeed the Frenchman.
Yeah! C'est bon, ça a bien joué.
Absolute delight for Seb and co-driver Julien Ingracia. And just look what that means to the team back at the service park. It's a first ever WRC victory for Volkswagen. And Ogier joined his compatriot Loeb as the only non-Scandinavians to win Rally Sweden. There's also an extra 3 points for Ogier for the power stage win, the perfect finish to a perfect day.
We worked really hard all the year with the team, and everybody did a lot of effort for that, but we never expected to be as performant as we were this weekend already.
And there it is, Ogier's final winning margin, more than 40 seconds ahead of Loeb, Mads Osberg in 3rd. And confirmation Yevgeny Novikov made it home in the end, but a disappointing day for him. Over at Volkswagen, meanwhile, sheer joy.
I'm really proud
for myself and for all my team, because we've started from zero last year and we have done a lot of work to develop this car, and to see the car and the team at this level already after 2 races is just amazing. So I'm happy that they trust me, I trust them as well, and I'm sure it's the beginning of a nice story.
I don't know what to say. I think I have to stop.
And it's with the emotions that you're feeling right now, a long process to get to this point.
Yeah, it's it's hard work for everybody, and most of the others are even longer in the team than I am, so they deserve even more credit for that than I do.
And the good news keeps on coming for Volkswagen, as the power stage result means Ogier takes over from Loeb as leader in the Drivers' Championship. Osberg, the leading Scandinavian, in 3rd. Finns Latvala and Herbenen 5th and 6th respectively. They will be desperate to improve on that. VW is still 2nd in the Manufacturers' Championship, but Ogier's win plus Latvala's 4th place sees them close up on Citroën. They're just 2 points behind. Sebastian Ogier and Volkswagen, the new boys on the block and top of the podium. They clearly mean business. The next big test, the gravel stages of Mexico. For now, from the ice and snow of Sweden, thanks for watching. Goodbye.
Är det rent av så att vi kan få en ny era här? Loeb, 9 raka VM-titlar, dominerat sporten länge. Kan det bli så att Ogier tar över och kommer att dominera lång tid framöver?
Mycket talar ju för det. Han vinner som andra icke-skandinav Svenska rallyt, vilket är starkt gjort bara det och mycket svårt. Han sitter i en ny bil i ett nytt team. De kommer att utvecklas hela tiden, varje tävling. De har fortfarande mycket kapital kvar i bilen att utveckla. De har ju varit i början av fasen med sin bil. Han har också 2 underlag kvar att köra på som han egentligen är bättre på än snö och is, grus och då framförallt asfalt. Han är ju en utpräglad, mycket snabb asfaltförare.
Vilken förare kommer bli hans främsta utmanare i jakten på VM-titeln?
Ja, du säger jakten på VM-titeln, och det är också intressant. Man redan första året så har man verkligen bäddat för att ta chansen att vinna VM. Det är helt mycket oväntat, och jag tror att Östberg är den som kommer att utmana Ogier.
Nästa deltävling avgörs i Mexiko. Det är säsongens 3:e. Det är den 10 mars. Och som vanligt får ni ett sammandrag här på SVT. Så fortsätt följ Rally-VM med oss. Tack så mycket för den här gången. Hej då.
Hej då.